Днепропетровске поражен один из крупнейших и известных еще со времен Советского Союза промышленных комплексов, который и сегодня производит ракетную технику, другое вооружение.
Friends and family, thank you for joining me here at the American News Network with Chris Sanders. That's Major News Network on apps, on your Google or on your Apple Play. Here the election is over. We are being held hostage for another 58 days. Not just you and I here at home, but even Putin. And we, as Jackwagon Joe went down to the Amazon, he gave Zelensky 50 ATACMS missiles, and he's already used several of those. So there's 45 more opportunities that he has, and he's going to use. But what Putin is saying is, why is the United Kingdom and why is the United States attacking me? Why do you guys threaten Russia? We have not threatened you. And I'd like to say, under Putin, he's not been our enemy. This is not the old Soviet Union. He has a lot of new missiles. He just demonstrated with something he's calling the Hazelnut Tree. It went Mach 10 with a multiple warhead package. It looked like lightning bolts going into the ground. They were not atomic. They can be. He's not bluffing. This is his third final warning. And here the election is over. Biden's not even authorized. We don't think he's competent to even make it another term, so we didn't even let him run for the election. But we're letting him start World War III. Does that make sense to you? Why has not the Senate designated an immediate impeachment on Joe Biden? The entire world's safety is at stake here. Is this a game to you, Congress, Senate, that Finland and Sweden are scattering? That he's now left out minutes of time in which Germany has. You have 14 minutes until you can meet your maker. The United Kingdom, you're not too much further behind. Within 30. He can take you out with this new thing he demonstrated. But oh no, under Jackwagon Joe and your new leader in the United Kingdom, you think that you can poke the Russian bear. I don't think so. I think that you are messing with a very seasoned KGB leader that has turned more people around in the name of freedom in his country. And he's not going to let somebody that blew up his pipeline and admitted to it, eco-terrorists, the Democrat Party, he's not going to let them destroy his beautiful country. Even though we're working in tandem, sure, Trump has a good relationship with Xi Jinping, but I'd like to ask you then, why are we letting him bring fentanyl into our country? Interesting jib-jabs. Wu-hang. What's going on with China and the United States? It's not been Russia. How come they can steal our patents? No other country. I want you to think about that. But somehow, the Hail Mary is being thrown America. As our Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, I had to wonder why he was giving so much stuff to Israel, and that is because his parents are from Israel. They're Jews, helping Jews. Jewish supremacy. And if you watch Fiddler on the Roof, it's about the Ukraine. That's pretty much the home frontier of Ashkenazi Jews. You could ask Roseanne Barr or even Mia Kunis. They're Ukrainian, but they're Russian Jews. You see, this is not our war. We've been duped. We've been played. Oh, yes. But now the consequences are real. You can ask 14,000 people that have died in Gaza, but why aren't we running an immediate impeachment because behind me, Vladimir Putin is announcing that he's going to nuclear war next. Hazelnut Tree will be armed to nuclear. You cannot stop her. Mach 10. Biden, Ukraine, and I'll tell you, as soon as he made this announcement, we had Iran follow him, and North Korea and China. All nuclear, all threatening the United States. Our kids, our cannon fodder that are out there. Like I said, 5,000 troops surrounded by 1 million, huh? What do you call that? Even in Iraq and Syria and Saudi, cannon fodder. You ever wonder why all of a sudden Israel went around and they bought Ancestry.com and 23andMe and all those type of genealogy websites? It's because they didn't want you to prove who had more Semitic than they did. Why else would they care and then hide stuff? Well, we have things to know about, but it's interesting when you study the Bible. Remember, even when King Nebuchadnezzar came down around 653 BC, we have sects that went in various areas, and some that were Middle Eastern and European descent. They went up into the Russian-Ukrainian area, and those are a lot of those Europeans and Germans are the Ashkenazis. And then we have Semitics and the other ones, but understand Semitic people would speak Aramaic, and that's closer to Arabic than it is anything today. So we gave Kiev 50 ATACMS. What Putin is also bringing up here is it was not Ukrainian soldiers that fired upon Russia. He said, oh no. Upon further investigation, we know that it was United States troops that were in Kiev that fired those weapons against us in Russia. So we have authorized our troops under Biden, Jackwagon Joe, to attack Russia, to kill people, and we did kill people, and Russia lost people as a result of this. Now, how would we respond if, like, Russia was hitting into America and just people in San Antonio, Texas died, and our response is, oh, well, they're just on the shores of America. Here, let me get onto the shores. Let me get onto the shores of America here pretty soon. Does that make sense? Well, let's just say all of a sudden it happens to Miami. Okay. How about New York City and Los Angeles and San Francisco? Those are just shore cities. Do you understand what Jackwagon did is he started World War III and he's made it impossible? And the Nobel Peace Prize goes to Vladimir Putin, this man behind me who is trying to keep his country safe while we are trying to say, oh, we just are killing people on the shores of Russia. Gee, Super Dave Osborne, isn't that just like the shores? Wouldn't that be like Manhattan and Miami and Los Angeles? Yeah? Jackwagon Joe. I'm convinced that Jackwagon Joe is going off the script of Super Dave Osborne and leading us into these failed adventures. Except this isn't a comedy. Now, I'm going to play some things, but I want you to remember that Jackwagon Joe also was the architect of the Nord Stream pipeline. Okay. So as we get into some various news articles here, let me get into what's happening here. You know what? This is kind of interesting. We have General Kim and he's got young Buck, okay? So this is General Kim, and this is interesting, America. See, I thought it was about Korean barbecue. I am slightly off. So General Kim Young-bak, okay? So he's probably, most of these Chinese generals, have you noticed that they're tremendous chefs? Oh yeah, General Tso's chicken. So this General Kim, I bet he makes some good bok choy. I'm going to call him General Young Bok Choy. And he's got 11,000 soldiers in North Korea storming into the Ukraine. World War III. They're all just holding themselves back, and the person that's letting all of this happen is Jackwagon Joe. Now, do we let Kamala Harris take the helm? Is that something that's on the maps at all? But, I'll tell you something. We have power that's been out for over 500,000 people on the West Coast, from Oregon, from Seattle to California. And this bomb cyclone happened. I've been watching it out there spinning, and it seems like it's just not moving. Continuing to dump just, tons of water. And California is not really used to taking a lot of water. And so we have 500,000 people at least that are going to need support. But I feel that you're not going to find it, because the last $9 billion we had just went to Israel and the Ukraine. Let that sink in. These are more reasons. This government's trying to start World War III. They don't have a dollar for you and me here at home. Every news agency out there on the West Coast is screaming for help. They're broke. It's like, it's not just Helene, it's everywhere now. And this is God showing us that we've been held hostage. And the only thing that they're trying to do is start World War III with Vladimir Putin, while FEMA doesn't even have a damn dollar. That's the real news. I'm glad I'm reporting it over what you're seeing, and it's the tragedies that God's given us, from Hurricane Helene to the bomb cyclones, that you can see that our government has scrambled around to give that $9 billion they had left to everyone except for us here at home, where I know that we could have prefabricated homes that we should be making by the hundreds of thousands, that have solar and wind and sat nav and communications on the roof, and homes that produce their own water on location, off grid, through humidity dehumidification, and that we could do this and basically be on our feet instantaneously. But we have a government that funds war and chemicals. We need to make America healthy again. Doge needs to happen. So we have Marjorie Taylor Greene, Vivek Ramaswamy, and Elon Musk. And with those three pioneers, hopefully we can make this happen. Marjorie Taylor Greene will be on the oversight committee. But we don't have a government that's here behind me on location on the West Coast when we have a tragedy. No, they're too concerned with robbing us in the Ukraine for some phony laundromat while they're cooking up a nuclear war with a whole bunch of beta males like Macron, when he knows now they've pissed off the bear, and that would be Vladdy P with the KGB. So this is the way it's looking. I'm going to tell you some interesting news that I did here, and that is, this is something I predicted. What was that? Well, I actually heard that we'd have Dan Bongino as the head of the Secret Service. That'd be a wise pick, because if you guys get out of control, he will just get on his Secret Service show and shit can your ass like you deserve, because it's not like the rest of us care what your feelings are about. Again, California, Oregon, Washington, our heart, our prayers are with you. I'm going to say maybe you can go out and find some gold that's been discovered as some of these hills wash away. See what kind of precious rocks you might find. See if there's anything that's beautiful that you can see that comes from this. But when I checked the radar images, it was amazing. The cyclone's just sitting there spinning. So expect more rain. And I don't know if that's a good thing, a bad thing, but it's something that will be happening. So, again, it seems like we have Putin, and he is telling us he's going to go to war. Now, this is another story here that's implicating us. They found a group of United States merc soldiers cruising, going to do sabotage throughout Russia, making it seem like Russia was the instigator. They even found the tattoo of one of the guys that's in a picture with Biden right behind him. He's one of our own. They can prove it. And so we have the United States going out. This is our shadow money being used to start world terrorism. So they're exposing this. They're exposing this on the other side of the planet. And they have his tattoos through his skin, and they're lining that up with pictures of him with Biden. And that's the guy right there, right behind me in between with Biden. They have him dead. They have his tattoos. And they have new weaponry that they transported in that they were able to seize after they killed him upon doing another mission. This intel that we have coming in, though, again, paints Jack Wagon Joe's administration as terrorists. They're the same ones that also did other plans. What did these guys and what do guys like that get paid to do? Well, I'm about ready to show you. So we have this. Now, understand we have nuclear Iran. This is Iran immediately. Like I said, they're doing a nuclear ultimatum. This is going on right now. So the whole world, like I said, we had Putin come on to nuclear alert. We have Iran. I'm going to show you Little Kim next. This is a no joke time. And it's because Biden has allowed U.S. missiles to go into Russia. And we gave Zelensky 50 of them. Boy, that's pretty smart, isn't it? And he immediately shoots them, but they're powered by United States soldiers. And now this footage has been proven by the other side. Will we make it 58 more days until Trump gets into office? That's my question that I have for all of us. Will we make it another 58 more days? Now, I'm going to let you know in England, there's been freedom of speech has been made illegal. I'll give you a little bit more information on the hazelnut tree here. And on this test, when you see it come in, the thing is that it is so fast, the hazelnut tree. Let me see if it gets any a little different here. But this missile is so fast that when it comes back in, it almost looks like lightning strikes. So the missile launched in response to the United States missile deployment plan struck Ukraine's Dnipro city earlier. Putin warned that Russia could use the missile against the countries along the Ukraine, promised to advance warnings to civilians in danger zones. This puts Poland, Germany on the map. He even says that he can hit the United Kingdom. This is not a threat to the United States, but this puts the entire European area on the map. You could say, why is that? And I say, well, don't forget Kaliningrad, the exclave of Russia. As far as Finland, Sweden, you wanted to go against Russia, I would actually give you 48 days of fighting, 48 hours of fighting and a week until you surrender. It's not a matter of manpower. It's just a matter of getting hit by technology, and you can't take a gun into a missile fight. We have, conclusive proof that World War III has begun. We have every single country that is responding. We are oblivious to it here at the United States. They're talking about, well, what if we get hit at the United States? And there's something funny that I follow, and it's called the airplanes that track Russian nuclear submarines. And when you track those planes, I'm telling you, the east coast of the United States is pretty hot right now. And we have it going on, and it's encroaching. And now there are specific war times that have been given to Germany, to Poland. We have Hungary putting up a shield and also a missile defense system as we speak through Viktor Orban. He knows it's going to get serious. These are the fronts. These are the things that are actually happening as we speak because World War III has begun. And it started because Jack Wagon Joe, on a whim, decided to give our crash test dummy and our laundromat in the Ukraine the ability to hit Russia. And his excuse, it's just barely in by a few hundred miles. Oh, okay. Yeah, so is Miami, and so is Los Angeles, and San Francisco, and Manhattan. So that theory, the world doesn't believe it. We have Pam Bondi becoming the new attorney general pick instead of Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz has then resigned from Congress. I don't know how he's going to get put back in, or if they're going to do a tag team switcheroo. Understand that Matt Gaetz stood for term limitations, so that somehow he'll know how to make that happen through the Trump administration. That could be a very important thing. In Manhattan, this was covered in the news the other day. There's an orb here that you're going to see. Did you see it? Anyways, this was on the news the other day, caught live on the news. I thought that was something interesting that you could see that they were catching on the news. Now, orbs or even technology from Russia. We are going into something serious, and I want you to understand that. So we have Netanyahu pleading to the world. And understand, as far as the orbs, I don't know if you heard me on that. It could be either technology from another country, because we're going into serious times. Netanyahu has every country wanting his immediate arrest for the murder of 14,000 plus children in Gaza, and directly claiming the area as his own, firing everybody around him, and endangering the lives of people that are actually not Zionists, but Jews. And we have to protect the true Jews, not the Zionists. And I want you to know that we're not shown how Netanyahu treats actual Jews. This is how Netanyahu actually treats Jews. So we have Jews that follow the law, Jews that believe in peace. Thou shalt not judge other people. Treat thy neighbor the way thou want to be treated. They're not about this. This is how the Zionists treat Jews. When people wonder if I'm anti-Jew, anti-Semitic, no, understand it's the Jewish supremacy is a Zionistic movement. And true Jews are not about hate, because God judges. They have 365 good commandments, 248 bad commandments, 613 commandments. I just want you to get a true understanding again on as to how Netanyahu treats Jews, okay? So hold on a second here.
When you come in Orthodox, it's with a different head. Coming to serve God.
20% of young men lose their religious identity while in the army. That's not a percentage which the Haredi world would be willing to tolerate.
So they are forced to drop a belief in God as they follow Zionism into battle. And it's an interesting perspective that we are not shown here in the United States. And it's, it's in an actual interesting time. So we have North Korea, like I said. So we have that going on. And we have North Korea. This is live right now as I'm talking. North Korea has put out a threat. He is in alliance with Putin. He knows that Putin has been attacked. They have a bromance. They are sharing chickens. They are sharing dogs. They are sharing birds. When guys share those kind of things, I'm telling you, it's on. I see the alliance between these two, and I would not want to challenge it. I mean, they're making it so late we can't even throw Dennis Rodman in there to save the day. Yeah. I mean, we almost were at the point with Orange Man good and watermelon balls, pitch shift off down there to Rodman coming in, North Korea slam dunk in there. Oh my goodness, bromance established, home run. I wish that could happen. That would be something to clap about, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. That would be Orange Man Good, Watermelon Balls with Vladdy P, and watching some Frank Dukes and Bloodsport. And you know what? That's a pretty damn good movie. Yep. They loved it over there. Check them out clapping. Well, that's not necessarily happening. No, they are getting the speech saying, I'm asking you to be serious. We don't know if we got 58 days to make it until Trump gets in, because Jackwagon Joe is acting like Super Dave Osborne from Bizarre, and we don't know which way he's going because his head has been taken off his body and reattached several times, and the world is scared to bejesus because they don't know what Super Dave is going to do next. So they're literally putting their everything out that they can. And in 57 days, we've had people come up. We've had people sliced down. Matt Gaetz being accused. All these guys getting accused of being heterosexual. How queer is that? Can you cut the crap and let us get to work, please? So we got Elon Musk. And he's going to come in. And I was there when this dark, gothic, beautiful MAGA came in to announce the Doge, Department of Government Efficiency, and how he could cut funding by $2 trillion that was discovered. Then Vivek Ramaswamy came in, and I'm telling you, he's got a gift with talking to the crowd. They ignited this cute little dog, this Department of Government Efficiency, and I will be helping with this in any way I can, boys. To clean house, to drain the swamp. So with them, we've got someone on the inside. She's kind of got the same color hair as this little dog. It'd be cute little Marjorie Taylor Greene. And don't forget our Orange Man Good with watermelon nuggets. Our dearly beloved. We got to protect the president at all cost. You ever count down to Christmas? Oh yeah, we're counting down. Except for all of us true MAGA people, that day would be January the 20th, the day we can finally pull the plug maybe on the swamp to roll, if they let us. So orange it is, everything orange from Marjorie Taylor Greene to Don Julio. Hopefully we'll get that little doggy. Hopefully Vivek can drain the swamp. Stay true on that side because he's pretty damn good at the crowd, I'll tell you, I noticed. But are they all going to protect a war criminal? Do they think America is just behind one race? Well, you could ask Martin Luther King, but somehow we can't ask him. We can't ask John F. Kennedy. Somehow we can't ask him because we have so much redacted information into the truth of America. Will we arrest Netanyahu? And better yet, who aided and abetted Netanyahu? Well, wouldn't that be the United States Congress and Secretary of State Blinken? And is this more information on aiding and abetting because the international criminal courts want to know? Yes, there are now known that the United Kingdom, if Benny goes into the United Kingdom, he will be arrested in the United Kingdom for war crimes. Wow. Weren't they supplying him as well? Yes, but we're not going to talk about that. And also this brilliant leader of the United Kingdom is also aided into the striking of Russia and has now put the United Kingdom on the map to be blown up within 30 minutes. So, in allegiance with the international courts, you have now this guy right here, that Carl Starmer, whatever you call him, he's basically gonna, I don't know, he's gonna help you guys get some trouble started. But the United Kingdom is one of the 124 international criminal courts that say Bibi has unanimously murdered, committed genocide, and you can't go talking about the genocide that happened to you when you're actively committing genocide in front of all of our eyes. We have to pray for everybody, and the wars that we're doing are so horrible. We've let our country go out of control. What do we do to war criminals? People that stole all of our money. And then they've gotten away with literally murder. In the story, there's a Bible in the story called Bel and the Dragon. And it was in the Bible, there was a story called Bel and the Dragon, and it was taken out. And it was taken out because it gave repercussions to leaders, even church leaders that lied. And through forensic in the dust, in the night, and the crime that was exposed, they were able to tell that certain religious leaders were lying and said that they were killed because of their crimes. So even religious leaders were put to death for lying back in the day, according to the Bible. And in the Bible, Daniel, the book, chapter 13, was taken out because two judges lied together and conspired so that they could sleep with the woman, except then the prophet Daniel came in as an angel and saved her. And the judges were then put to death. Well, as we've watered down the Bible and taken out the accountability for elected officials and kings and queens and judges, isn't it interesting to know that in the good book and the old ways that the punishment for those individuals was death? What is the constitutional crime for treason? Has aiding and abetting the enemy actually happened? We're going to go back in time just a little bit. And I want you to see that Train to Agua also is going on like crazy here. Okay, so here's one thing that you're going to see. Storm shadow. So this is what you allowed the United Kingdom to do. So we have the United Kingdom and its technology being used against Russia. And then we have the attack of missiles, 50 of them being given to Zelensky. And he is using them with the United States troops. This has been exposed by Putin. Why are we allowing our troops to hit? Why are we allowing a commander-in-chief to stay in office when he is not even mentally fit to serve the next term? He has been voted out, and he is starting World War III. These are crimes against humanity. Russians have already died. He is just trying to cover up the tracks for the crimes that he knows that he's guilty of. He has authorized long-range weapons into Russia. But I'm going to tell you there's more. Oh, wait, there's way more. What do I mean by that? Well, we have kids. From day one, this has been going on 1,000 days. This is what Gaza has looked like under the Biden administration. People wonder why did you vote for Trump? Well, you know, this did not look like this during Trump's administration. This is the way life looks over there under Jackwagon Joe's administration. This is what we're doing to children. We are letting the shadow government get away with murder. We don't even really have a president, but we're giving all of our aid to Israel so they can do this to innocent people that have nothing to do with war. Oh, so if this hurts, let it sink in, and I want you to know that we're letting our government get away with murder. And I want to ask you why. And when Doge gets into office, I want us to gain together to find everybody that had the authority to mandate it, to move, to supply to Israel these weapons of mass destruction. And the consequences shall be paid to the fullest price. Because even your faith would say an eye for an eye. This is unacceptable that America and our might was used like this. Am I right or am I wrong? Now, as far as a quick recovery, this is going to blow your mind. Mariupol, this was blown up just a couple of years ago. So I was expecting it to remain a total desolate place. Well, Putin's pretty quick, actually. So is Russia. And what if I was to tell you that this is Mariupol today? They've completely built up the place. No kidding. They have completely cleaned it up. They have completely assimilated it and turned it back into Russia. They are building up the entire place. It looks brand new. That, to me, is shocking. This is a grocery store in Mariupol, and it is thriving. And it seems like just a couple years ago it was blown up. So Mariupol has been transformed, and Russia is able to rebuild itself very quickly under Putin. And I wanted that to be a heads up call because it looks better than Los Angeles, San Francisco, our Democrat infested cities today. Gaza. Now you can see how it's looking. Doesn't look quite the same anymore since we participated in genocide. See, maybe these hostages were in some of these buildings, right? What kind of a story do you want us to believe when you've bombed the place into 95% kingdom come, that people would take care of your hostages or that they would look normal when the place is completely covered with phosphoric dust, white phosphorus, and when everybody's literally starving to death going from one end to the other, from the very north to the very south. We have 2 million people that have been displaced in genocide, and Israel has admitted that they don't want to give the land up now. This is their land, and this was a land grab like Lahaina. We should study Lahaina. This is before and after Jackwagon Joe. And I just want you to know, it's just this is the way it is. It's kind of shocking, but it's true. And let's see here. These are things that I want us to actually kind of understand directly from why we're going through this.
We're in a situation where we have put together, and you guys did it for our administration, the President Obama's administration before this. We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
That's believable, sir.
Diplomacy is the very best way forward for all sides, we both agree, including best for Russia, in our view. And we have made it very clear we're ready to continue talks in good faith with Russia. Germany has also been a leader in pushing de-escalation of tensions and encouraging dialogue through the Normandy format. If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it. We'll now take a couple questions each. Reuters, Andrea, you got the first question.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Chancellor Schultz. Mr. President, I have wanted to ask you about this Nord Stream project that you've long opposed. You didn't mention it just now by name, nor did Chancellor Schultz. Did you receive assurances from Chancellor Schultz today that Germany will in fact pull the plug on this project if Russia invades Ukraine? And did you discuss what the definition of invasion could be? And then Chancellor Scholz, wenn ich Sie fragen darf,
If I may
Sie
ask you, Chancellor
haben
Scholz,
darüber gesprochen, dass es eine
you
strategische
said there
Ambiguität
was some
geben soll,
strategic
wegen
ambiguity
den
that was
Sanktionen.
needed in
Und,
terms of
ich
sanctions.
wollte wissen, ob
I
die
just wanted to
Sanktionen,
know
die
whether
Sie
the
vorhaben
sanctions
und
you
die
are
EU
envisaging
vorhaben
and
und
the
die US
EU is
vorhaben,
working on and the
nun
US as well
schon fertig geschnürt sind
are
oder ob das noch
already
ausgearbeitet
finished,
wird.
finalized, or is there
Denn
still
in der
work
Tat,
ongoing?
Ihre,
And
also dass Sie das nicht sagen wollen, was genau da drin ist. Ist
you're
das
not
eine
really saying what the details
Ausrede,
are.
dass
Is that
Deutschland
just an
vielleicht zum Beispiel die
excuse for
SWIFT,
Germany
Maßnahmen
maybe
nicht
to
mittragen
not
würde?
support the SWIFT measures?
Let me answer the first question first. If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
How will you do that exactly? Since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control.
We will. I promise you, we'll be able to do it.
Promises made, promises kept. Hey, Biden.
Schönen Dank für Ihre Frage.
Thank you
Ich,
very
will
much
jetzt
for
klar
your
sagen,
question.
Again, then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
What? Really? You promised Biden?
How will you do that exactly? Since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control.
We will. I promise you, we'll be able to do it.
schönen Dank für Ihre Frage.
Thank you very much for.
Hey, who said Jackwagon Joe didn't keep his promises? Promises made, promises kept, and you know he blew up that Nord Stream pipeline for you and for me. Don't call the Democrats eco-terrorists, y'all. They're just trying to stimulate that good old natural gas pipeline scenario. It doesn't matter that all the damn creatures died around Helsinki, did it? Chancellor Scholz, now you have 18 minutes for nuclear war with Putin because of some of these shenanigans. And I expected our time with the United States would be equal with the submarines that are sitting off our coasts. Chancellor Scholz. Here, you want to hear some Chancellor Scholz?
You can be sure that there won't be any measures in which we have a differing approach. We will act together, jointly.
It's a good idea to say to our American friends.
Hey, I'm going to tell you something. We care about you over there in the Ukraine and these people that were helping us in the Ukraine. Yeah, we cared about them. Those were kids falling from our airplanes as we were leaving. That's us at our finest. We started that way. So I think that when we aided and abetted the Taliban of $85 billion, that's proof of treason. Then all these innocent people that helped us, their kids dropped from airplanes, and then these people were murdered that had been helping us for the last 20 years. And I mean, everybody looked at us like, Jesus, this is how America treats their allies? Oh, you see, they couldn't move it as if they had to move it so far. It's not like they couldn't have moved all of this crap to Israel or to Saudi or to Iraq. We have a whole bunch of bases that were within range of a full tank of gas, by the way. But we just left everything there. See, a lot of people were thinking long range. No, but this pullout like we did was actually aiding and abetting the enemy, funding the Taliban, just like they did the same thing when Obama did it when we pulled out of Iran and they aided and abetted and funded ISIS. Then he pulled this, cover up my tracks right as I leave, and Biden's going to do the same thing, and I'm going to say, we have to say no, America. Do we take this threat seriously? Do we understand that nuclear threat is here, that Putin has put out nuclear shelters all throughout Russia? Do we take that seriously, or do we just live day by day and pretend like this is not happening? These are the mobile nuclear shelters he is implementing throughout Russia as we speak. Why? Does he know that Jack Wagon Joe is just as out of control as Super Dave Osborne? I think he is. Can we have a constitutional convention to put Trump into office because the 25th Amendment can't be inactivated because Kamala Harris is equally as out to lunch? She's lied to the American public. She's negative 20 million in the hole. She's from Canada, for Christ's sakes, and I'll tell you, her Jewish stance has never been truly exposed, or her husband, but the Jewish supremacy through both parties will be the undoing of the United States. Putin has put nuclear fallout shelters throughout his country. This is major news, I would say. He has hit the Ukraine with what I believe is a target, but I think he used an EMP because certain areas have gone pitch black in communications, meaning maybe he EMP'd the area, did an electrical magnetic pulse. When you see the speed of the hazelnut tree, but understand, Russia has built these nuclear shields, and they have prepared for a 48-hour scenario, and they have braced now for a worst-case scenario because they realize that the America and the United States is out of control with President Biden at the helm, as he has disobeyed every communication and request and has in fact now bombed Russia. How is Russia supposed to defend themselves? I'm going to give Putin the Nobel Peace Prize. What I'm going to show you right here behind us are the 5 largest nuclear tests that were caught on camera, so that you understand what basically happens and what we're looking at here. We were doing these things above the water for a while, then under the water, then we started doing them underneath the ground. Now, quite a few of those near Area 51. The SAR bomb was the absolute largest. That's what you're seeing right there briefly behind me. It was a hydrogen bomb that Russia is sitting on. 2 of America's largest ones that we took off, even in the atolls, were built in barns. So we didn't actually drop them like you think, and that also has me scared, because how many of these barns did these turds build throughout America already? So we have a lot of these things and a lot of these tests that you're going to see. But again, this is the way one of the bombs looked. It was basically in a steel shed, and they had to put the device together. And as they put the device together in the middle of the Pacific, they didn't have to drop anything. This is the reason why I'm showing you this, is because 2 of the 3 largest bombs that we did were built in sheds that look like this. A standard barn, a standard shed. But when we started mixing it with the different ingredients, so a lot of people think we dropped it with the plane. No, the bomb was the shed. And so has our government already built these sheds? Now, this is the explosion. Now, one of the explosions was kind of minimal. One of them was super massive. Okay, and we're talking fireballs that were like everything within 10 square miles was completely put on fire. Everything within 1,000 miles, 3rd-degree burns. And they did it in sheds. And remember, we had 818 train rail derailments with a lot of these type of chemicals missing. Lithium 1713, these different deposits were used in one of our bombs that was supposed to be at 3 turned in at 15 kilotons, because we didn't know how massive the reaction would be with that type of lithium. So understand, these are things that are happening. These are the scenarios. Look at the size of this fireball behind me. Okay, and again, from a shed bomb, and everything within that area was completely vaporized. Then we realized we could be screwing with the environment altogether, and that nuclear fallout and waste was falling all over Mexico at the time, in Mexico City. And so they changed the laws of us being able to pull stuff off like that. Now, then they started doing these other ones in these ships. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because I'm seeing the same kind of ships going around today. The ships with all these radar antennas. Well, that was then the new other type of bomb that we ignited. And whether it's weather manipulation or even these ships, these are weather modification things that we did with nuclear tests. This was the largest one they dropped, but it was only one, and that was the one that we filmed, and it was quite huge, okay, in comparison to the other ones. So again, we even set some of these things off like right into the water and underneath the water. They say that you're going to need some iodine. They sell iodine pills. I'm not going to say do that at all. Go to an Asian store, stock up on seaweed. You heard me right. Kelp, you know, that stuff that they roll around seaweed. Get yourself some extra seaweed in the house. And heaven help us, I hope nothing like this goes on. Because we are messing with the one other country that has set off the largest nuclear bombs in the world. That's Russia. There's nothing that's ever been bigger than the Tsar bomb, and we are messing with the artist of the Tsar bomb. Tsar bomb, the shockwave went around the world 4 times. And we have, what I'm showing you is we had Operation Castle, Castle Bravo, and the little man, the big man. In all of these tests we filmed until, like I said, we couldn't because the fallout was affecting the world. We got rather good at it on our Castle Bravo and all of our Castle tests, but we had to bring that to an end. Then we started doing it underneath the ground. I'm going to fast forward it here just so that you can see some interesting things. Now, these are ships that had to take an explosion, and a lot of us don't get to see this type of footage, but if we're going to go into a nuclear scenario, I want you to see how peaceful it looks right here. And in the blink of an eye, how massive the change is. And these were tests. Okay. Russia's invented something that they put with cobalt in it, and Poseidon. It creates a nuclear tidal wave that is higher than the Empire State Building, and as the tidal wave foams over into Great Britain or Manhattan, the cobalt radiation of the wave kills everybody and contaminates the land. Poseidon, that's actually another weapon, and it'll look something like that, creating a nuclear wave, except even in the wave itself, there will be an immense poison, a cobalt radioactive poison. And that's the direction this war could go. His test yesterday with Hazelnut Tree was to let us know that there's no way we can even defend ourselves. Okay? And he's deployed nuclear shelters. He is not joking. He is sitting on the Tsar bomb. He's sitting on all these other bombs. This is the one country it's like where we really shouldn't be messing with. I mean, the only one. I even think we could take out China and North Korea easy, but Russia and China and Russia with these other people, we're going to get our ass handed to us. We should have Jackwagon Joe answer for these war crimes with Benjamin Netanyahu and with our cabinet. And we just really can't, have America go into this direction. So again, we are not playing the innocent country here. And I want you to know that. And so the reporting I'm giving is we might be about to receive what we've been getting. You get what you receive. This is what we've been giving. We live a good day every day while these kids in Gaza are starving to death and then getting beat up if they don't even share food with the adults in their family. They're not even letting the aid go through. This is what we're giving. This is unacceptable. This Biden administration abandoned the people of Afghanistan. This Biden administration murdered the children and the people of Gaza and aided and abetted in a genocide. This administration laundered all of our money into the Ukraine and murdered over 600,000 innocent Ukrainian men by designing a war and creating a hate that didn't need to happen at all. What should the accountability be for the 435 people that have hijacked the government? They all know that they did. The people of January 6th were people that were following their constitutional right to peacefully assemble because of our redress and grievances, because we knew that our election had been stolen. The results of the stolen election are all the war crimes that you're seeing behind me, from children starving to death and being murdered in Gaza, from the destruction of the Ukraine, from children falling off of airplanes in Gaza. We are now on a nuclear alert from Putin because the crazy man at the helm has allowed us to attack Russia, to attack Moscow. And I'm wanting you to know that. As crazy as it is, we're doing some crazy things. So at least 17,400 children, numbers probably double that, have been murdered in Gaza. Their entire population of 2 million people has been displaced. Other countries are not accepting them in because Gaza Heights was even in the book of Genesis. We have something called Jewish supremacy. You see, I support Israel, but I don't support this. I showed you how the people of Israel that followed Judaism were being treated by the Zionists. I don't support that. These Zionists don't believe in a God. They're Ashkenazis. They're more German than anything else. They've taken over 23andMe and Ancestry.com because if you look at them, they're European. They're not Semitic. Yehudi Shadam Mutachmed Yahudi. They don't even know Arabic. If you are Arabic, then you are of a Semitic descent, like Egyptian and like people from Jordan and Iraq, and the people that are there, like the people of Palestine. Killing the people of Gaza is an anti-Semitic act, truly. So study your history well. And as a Christian, children come first. Why on God's green planet did you help murder 17,400 children? We get what we give. This is the streets of Israel again. Right now, this is the streets of Israel because they are arresting Jews that are protesting this war. And Benjamin Netanyahu, I do not stand alone. If you support Israel, you support these Jews. These ones do not believe in this war. Only God judges people. We are just commanded to love. We are just commanded to multiply. This is unacceptable to everybody that has a faith. That's why even Arabs put up with Jews, because they know there's a difference between a Jew and a Zionist. These Jews are being attacked. We are funding something that's going to get them all killed, and they know it. You don't think they're being attacked? Look, see it. These Jews are being attacked in the name of this bullshit war. You want to stand up for Israel, then stand up for peace. The only way we're going to have peace is to bring Netanyahu in. This is the only way these guys know how to stand up. They face a chemical attack by Russia, all caused by a Zionist named Benjamin Netanyahu. These guys couldn't hurt a butterfly. That's why you never hear about Goldberg and how well he did in the NBA. What about the NFL? No? Hockey? No. Maybe your accountant, but definitely not your athlete. And I'm just going to say that. So we got Goldberg on the line, and we have the Sheik. That good old ribbed Sheik. He's coming in. He's healthy, fresh and lubed and ready to go. And in the meantime, he's been given a gift by Vladdy P and the KGB. He's like, if they need an enema, I've got Operation Hazel. So Kiev attacks. They've got basically 48 hours, and our government was warned by Russia to get out of Dodge. Clock's ticking. Orsheznik, Hazelnut Tree, speed Mach 10. That is 7,672 miles per hour. Enemies now listed are the United States, the United Kingdom, and Germany. The United States for ATACMS, the United Kingdom for Storm Shadow, Germany for Nord Stream participation and being a general pain in the ass. Poland, you're also on the list. Hungary, you're probably not, but Viktor Orban's putting up a missile defense system. We have lost Ellen DeGeneres to the United Kingdom. My goodness, we feel lighter. Richard Gere, he's moving to Spain, and I don't know if you've heard this, but it's been an urban legend, and I'll let you know, you better hide all the damn hamsters you got in the whole country before they disappear. United Kingdom, update 19 minutes to disintegration. Belgium, 14 minutes. Germany, 11 minutes. Poland, 8 minutes. That's from Vladdy P and the KGB. From you to me, he's saying America's last chance might be another set of orange decorative defending beautiful eyes that we have from a mother of 3 in the United States. You see, we can form a team that all gets around and all agrees. But I'll tell you something. We need to stand up for our country. I hear Marjorie Taylor Greene's coming on in, and you know what? We need her to come on in with vengeance. Matt Gaetz, you need to come back in too. Because I'll tell you something. We've been overtaken by a mob, and they need to pay for their crimes. We have 58 days. Every single day they stay in, people die, get murdered, and it is unacceptable. If you listen to these guys behind me, well, I'll tell you, Judge Neapolitano sounds like a good type of ice cream to me, but listen, he's got some pretty smart people that he brings on his show all the time, and everybody's in agreement. We are being run into the dirt by an old, decrepit, out-of-control criminal, and it's nothing but just outright scary. That's just the plain story of it. Now, I want to give you the opinion of another Jew who believes that we should take all of our money and to give it to another Jew, but he's got some sense here, and he's going to expose the crimes. And Doge, you're going to need to take the information to Senator Sanders. If you need help, I will do it, but we got to prosecute for these war crimes so that they do not happen again. A slap on the hand will not work. We need to go old school. If you had me around, it'd look like a Western movie, and you'd see a lot of hemp rope and gravity. Senator Sanders.
Unanimous consent to dispense with further reading of the resolution.
Under the previous order, there will now be 2 hours of debate equally divided between proponents and opponents.
For more stories like these, be sure to subscribe to the new.
Madam President, pursuant to Section 36B of the Arms Export Control Act, I move to discharge the Committee on Foreign Relations from further consideration of SJ Res 111 relating to the disapproval of the proposed foreign military sale to the government of Israel of certain defense articles and services.
The clerk will report.
The senator from Vermont, Mr. Sanders, moved.
Well, 7 News covering Fairfax County now, where suspected members of a violent Venezuelan gang considered more powerful than police in South America have reportedly arrived. Our Tom Rousey investigated and finds out what they're accused of already doing here in Tysons.
Back in summer 2023, 3 men allegedly came here to the Tysons Galleria and committed grand larceny by stealing from some of the high-end stores. Now, that wouldn't normally make the news, but it is now making the news because of what we've recently learned about those 3 suspects and their alleged ties to a violent Venezuelan gang. According to court records, these 3 men in their 20s came down from New York and were captured by Fairfax County Police with $9,000 of stolen merchandise in their car. Court records list a
aggravated assault, robberies, but they were stealing.
Train de Aragua operated out of this Venezuelan prison for years. The gang
Governor's office says people with information could earn up to $5,000. Last week, Abbott launched a statewide operation to target the Venezuelan gang to disrupt their criminal operations and deny their foothold in the state. The governor's office says people with information could earn up to $5,000. Last week, Abbott launched a statewide operation to target the Venezuelan gang to disrupt their criminal operations and deny their foothold in the state. To the eligible for the cash rewards, those submitting tips must provide information to authorities using one of the methods you see there on your screen. All tips are
Today. Okay, I'm just letting you have a heads up because we got these punks in our country. We're going to need to eradicate them. Our Texas finest, you're going to need to deputize the citizens so that the people of Texas can be under control. Understand that we have this gang. They're finding this Tren de la Agua gang. Governor Abbott signed a proclamation. If you need to see it more in detail, just back up the video so that you get that number so that you can help prosecute and throw these scumbags into jail and prison. Governor Abbott signed a proclamation declaring the gang as a foreign terrorist organization. He noted that El Paso is in the middle of the issue, saying that the law enforcement has made 20 arrests or so around the Gateway Hotel, and the state's developing a database to track suspected TDA gang members. Again, you got the number back there. I'll play it again right here behind me. But we need to basically make sure that these people are under lock and key. So if you find them, if you see anything that looks, like it shouldn't be there, we'll make sure that you report it and make life easier for our finest. Again, here's the number here behind me. And if you need to do that, just call them 1-800-252-8477. 1-800-252-8477, and that's you'll get a $5,000 reward if you can successfully report Tren de la Agua or report them con artists. Let the police roll in and do what they got to do. Let's get them out of our country. Nuclear energy. It's come up as a topic for me. I'm going to bring it up. For all you new politicians want to talk about it, kiss my ass and sit down. I'm an oil and gas producer. You lightweight con artists have been sold already to the lobbyists of nuclear energy. It's not a matter on if it works, it works. Just ask Fukushima. The question is once some catastrophe happens, we don't know how to shut it down. Is it worth it? Shit, no, it ain't worth it. I've had a boat out in Marina Del Rey, California for 30 years. And when I first got out there, we had flying fish and a whole bunch of creatures until Fukushima killed the Pacific Ocean. And if it's that strong, tell you what, we got 15 wells in New Mexico that could power the entire West Coast for the next 2 decades. So we don't need to think nuclear. We have enough natural gas here in the United States to power America till kingdom come, and even do it organically because we can use the shale basins like anaerobic digesters, and that's where we put CO2 down there and turned it into O2 and methane, butane, propane, stuff to make the United States of America energy independent immediately. So again, the news is out and about, spreading through Europe, and I'm going to say this before closure, and that is United States Special Services, even ones that have been seen around Biden recently, have been seized by the Chechen army, and there are pictures that they're lining up between our soldiers, tattoos on their body, and recent photographs with the president. These are the shadow projects of the United States, such as the Nord Stream pipeline. We're funding more of this shadow stuff than we actually know about. There's more that we can't account for than we actually do in a GDP. So our country's out of control. The shadow government is pulling the strings. We know it's not Jackwagon Joe, and they're leading us into temptation and delivering us to evil. So we need to come to God. We need to understand what evil is, and we need to make it pay the consequences. So that guy behind me in that picture that you saw with Biden, he's actually the person that was killed. They have his equipment. They have his entire mission. They know that Jackwagon Joe has funded it. Again, it's this guy right here. Okay, he's now dead, and he was handling a bad mission for America to where Russia was going to look like they were going to do something, but in fact it was us. We've got to stop being the bad guy. Okay, Democrats, as far as even if you voted for him, again, they stole your election. It could have been RFK versus Trump, but no, Kamala. Okay, now this guy here is dead. Now this weapon's been delivered. Now everything he was going to do, the sabotages for America, have been discovered. And you know what? I'm sick of us being the bad guys. I'm sick of us like blowing up the Nord Stream. That's not good for the environment. Who else were we going to kill that we weren't supposed to right here? Okay, we are violating the 1973 Declaration of War Powers Act that was done on Nixon and into RFK. Biden is guilty of these crimes right now, and the fact that Congress has not gone in forward with the Senate to do impeachment articles just on that, just by funding a guy that is termed out of presidency, who's Zelensky, this damn laundromat has gone on far enough. They need to be how are we going to prosecute for Doge? If you need somebody to help prosecute, I'm at your service. So I'm all in for Vivek Ramaswamy, Elon Musk, Marjorie Taylor Greene, but we need to expose these criminals, and we need to lock them up. We can't let them communicate with each other. There's really only 435 at the top from public, but the shadow government down, we need to seize their assets so that they can't do counter negative intelligence or even war crimes and bombs against the general public, because they have all this shadow money. What are they going to do with it? It is our money. It has not been authorized to give to them. I suggest that we seize their accounts and all business activities related to such and said individuals or corporations so that we can reduce our debt. This also might reduce our 35 trillion instantaneously to maybe even 10 trillion less than that if we can apprehend and immediately seize all of those accounts that are in existence at the exact moment that I'm talking about. It's going to be diversified. There's been diversified crimes. That's also why we had Building 7 drop during 9/11. And we have not been getting a straight answer from our government since 9/11. And so since Bush, and I'm sure they're connected to the bastards that took out JFK in the beginning, we have not been able to trust this government, from them to the Clintons to Obama. The only person we've had that's been on our side, America, has been Trump. And if this Doge administration doesn't come in, it is the only tool that I've even seen that has been the mechanism that we need to drain the swamp. My name's Chris Sanders. God bless you. I'm praying that Iran can wait 58 more days. I'm praying that in 58 more days that we can impeach Biden, not let Harris in, and let the Trump administration move in with Doge, because the alternative is nuclear war. Putin, I would like to thank you on behalf of the American public by not bombing us. And somehow we need to work this out. Somehow you need to take the nuclear football out of the hands of Jackwagon Joe, or our children might not live to see another day. So Congress, get the lead out of your ass. And this is a sincere request to hurry up. Don't take your time and hurry up. Get the lead out of your ass and impeach Jackwagon Joe and Kamala Harris and install President Trump immediately, for the safety of the United States of America, the future of our country, and the future of the planet, so that we don't go to nuclear war. God bless and amen.